We are charged with great responsibility, and we take it seriously. Beloved Creator, we challenge others in high positions to do the same when they fail to question or acknowledge the damage their decisions and actions have done and are doing to so many who blindly trust and entrust their very lives to them. We do it for our children, and we do it for all the children. We stand firm in support of the people. We stand firm in our faith that goodness and truth will prevail. And we speak out and we shine our light and our love in the name of all that is good and righteous. Let it be so. And so it is.
Thank you, Charlie. Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. This conversation, and anybody that wants to join, is about what do you do when the cop stops you? Here you are driving along, whatever, and cherries and berries behind you, and you pull over, and the cop has stopped you. Well, we had an idea, and I claim no credit for it, but I was there when it happened. Uh, you know these little plastic business cards you get that are really top quality? They're like a credit card stock, and you almost hate to throw it away. It's a keeper. Those business cards or presentation cards cost like, I don't know, 25 cents a piece or something. What with inflation, God only knows what they cost. But in any case, think of those in packages of 10 driver's licenses, however you want to identify a driver's license. You see one, you know what it is. Then you get, the state and address and is the picture you, all of that photo ID stuff. That is available to you from the provisional government on Oregon. It is. So let's think about a pack of 10 of those. And when you look at it, at the top of it, in a nice script, it says, "Am I free to go?" Something like hot shoe on my hat. So if you held this business card, this presentation card, this driver's license up to the inside of your window, and the cop got there and he looked at it, and there it is, a very official looking driver's license. And at the top of it, it says, "Am I free to go?" That's your presentation to the cop of where you are and where we are backing you. And we meaning the provisional government, the Article 1, Section 1, the legit thing. So with this card, you hold it up to the window, then maybe you wind the window down an inch and you slide it through to the cop. And he's got everything that he needs to know. Lawfully, legitimately, legally. Photo ID, yep. Look like you, yep. identify, name, address, all that there. Yep. All the requirements fulfilled. And it just cost you, let's say, $2. If he gives it back, you didn't spend anything. If he keeps it, you're out one out of your 10 pack. So the decision has to be made by all of the people that are still driving or traveling or operating or functioning or whatever other word synonymous to driving your car down the road. So you have to have a mindset if you want to have a confrontation with the cop to whatever degree. If you want to win it, be amiable, I'm not going to take this anymore, maximum pushback. My first thought is for everybody, this is not the battle you want to fight. It really isn't. If you have a Oregon driver's license, keep it in good repair. I personally think insurance is overpriced, but I sure as hell don't want to be liable for the damage I could do with my automobile. You can really do some damage with one. And insurance, I think, is, uh, yeah. So, anyhow, whether you have insurance or not, the driver's license is there. The next move is registration. If you don't want to get hassled and you're a good driver and you don't make mistakes and cause trouble or do anything, what does it cost you? $100 a year to drive the car with their plates on it? There it is. I'm Jane Doe and I'm totally legit. And they'll just leave you alone if you leave them alone. Don't call them, they won't come. But if they do stop you, the first thing I think you should do is give them everything they want if you have it. And the next thing is make sure you don't piss the cop off. That's just first thing. You can irritate him, but keep it cool. I myself roll the window down that far. I can hear you just fine. And roll your window down. No. Get out of the car. No. And when I drove, I had a little sticker on the windows that says not for hire or whatever it was. And I made my own license plates, and it cost me $4,000 in fines and 20 days in jail and all kinds of just terrible shit. And it's just not worth it. It just isn't. The thing you want to do that's really easy to do is to go down to the post office and put in a change of address from wherever it is that you live to this general delivery, whatever the town is, Oregon and the zip code. Then it says continuous traveler and my name. And I paid for this damn card. It cost me a lot of bucks. And I had to have it or I was going to go back to jail for breaking probation. That's not the fight. Stay out of that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 bags full. Get the ticket and drive on. Don't argue. Don't cause any trouble. Doesn't do you any good. Write on it, whatever. I don't want a contract with you and turn it in. If there's any trouble, the court sends you a piece of paper. We say and send them a claim of cognizance. You're not in their jurisdiction, and ignore it. You got to be able to stand for your own convictions, but don't cause trouble unless you're a troublemaker like me. Then you cause trouble. But you can be just as right up to date with everything you're doing and just not get into that fight. It's like, do you really want to get into the Sestakay trust fight and do all that? I often remember Heather Ann Tucci Jarrett. No, I don't care to get into that fight over money and trusts and all. It doesn't make any difference if you don't have a constitutional Republican form of government. You don't have anything, so that's the fight. But in any case, several people have gotten into the fight. They're not going to have a license plate, and they're not going to bend over for them, and they're going to go to the wall. Well, let's talk about going to the wall. Several have uh, a plate from a dealership or an advertising plate of some sort. Harry's Auto Detailing, and maybe a city, I don't know. But it's there and it's in the plate holder. It's not ignored and it's not vacant. Vacant causes attention. So you put something there. We don't have to sell it. You can make it or you can buy it, but be careful what you put there. That's your invitation to the cops. Be careful what you put in the back window. That's another one. I'm firmly of the belief our trip ticket or trip permit, the one that Ray made, that one is totally legit. That on your back window and your passport is all you need for any traffic stop. And Ray, he was a trip. After he had his stroke and he didn't talk as well or anything, and nothing in his brain changed. And he was still driving and all that, of course. And the cop would stop him and he would give him his passport, and he had his sticker on the window. And that's all there is. That's all I have. I can't give you any more. That's all there is. If you've got something to write, please go ahead, write it, but I can't help you anymore. They would do whatever they did, and Ray was happy and they were happy, and he drove away. Perfect encounter with the cops. Don't admit anything, and am I free to go? I think the little card, like an expensive presentation card, and they come in packs of 10, you could give them away like cookies, and made out with continuous traveler on there, and general delivery as an address, and a good photo, and a well made card, uh, very similar to a card like this, only made to look like a driver's license. Then on the back of the vehicle, what are you going to put there? If you're on Oregon, I like the one that came from Richard, the two Oregon plates, the two Oregon statutes, the one that made licensing and the one that took it away. They don't have the authority, and we know it. And that is clear. I love that one. And I love the no trespass sign, plasticized. The cops stop you, you put it up in the window, or you like Brandon did. He put it up in the window on the passenger side where the cops were talking to him. Don't trespass. They touch his car, stop it. You have to draw the line. You have to know where you're going. So all of this, I really do believe you can do yourself, but I also believe it would be advantageous to buy it from who in the hell is selling that information. Anyhow, we have it. I can't recall it. Nobody's helping me out. I see you got Brandon's hands up, but he's not talking.
I didn't hear that part. What was that?
I said your hands up.
I know, but what was it that you were looking for?
Any kind of input on what you think about a traffic packet or something.
Oh, it's absolutely imperative and necessary for one to be able to have that as evidence on them in case they get pulled out of the automobile, so that becomes evidence in fact regarding the action that the officer enacted upon a man or a woman. It also allows you to be able to cite and inform them of current laws that trump their statutes and ordinances and rules.
What do you think you should show on your the back of your car?
Well, I currently do what you were just talking about with the travel permit, but while I'm doing that at the moment and it's worked, I think it's imperative that at some point here soon we all start getting on the same page, doing the exact same thing, with like a "Don't tread on me" in the front and a private plates on the back. Letting them know that we're not concerned or worried about how they're going to act, because we know we already have a right. And I think the more people traveling around doing that will bring attention to the fact that it's not a requirement, it's not necessary. This is being done in a way to create revenue for the state and not for the greater good of the people.
I like the Gadsden idea on the front plate. That's kind of nice. Part of the packet.
That's what I had my hand raised for. I was gonna share that because that was something that Charles actually brought up the other night with me and Cynthia on the line. Was, we really need to be on the same page doing the same stuff, because then it'll let them know that there's enough of us out here running around not complying with their unlawful orders.
Yep.
And more people will see that, and more people will get on board, and it's just a matter of time. But the travel permit makes it less likely that you're going to get pulled over unreasonably, unless they claim that they can't see it, like they did with me that night.
They could see something there, though.
Oh yeah, it was there. That was just his prerequisite to his reasoning for pulling me over to begin with. So then he could harass me more and try to trump up some sort of other charge or something and get some accolades or a pat on the back for it. I yield.
Thank you, Brandon. So we're getting closer to an idea on what is going to be available. There's stuff all over the internet available. There's one guy that has a trifold that is quite interesting. But this is a sidetrack. This is what they're looking for to do to us first encounter. And it takes up a tremendous amount of time. I think we should deviate from it at all opportunities. I yield. Anybody got anything more to say?
Yeah, that guy's name is Delete Laws on YouTube.
Yeah.
And while I agree with a lot of what you said, the concern I have with regards to, later having the claim of cognizance accomplished when you're riding around with plates, like William said, the moment that you have plates on that car, they have one of the presumptions that you are a driver and you are complying with their requirement. So then they believe and have reason to believe that you are a driver operating a motor vehicle until you prove otherwise, which makes it more difficult in a situation where you're trying to not contract with them because you do have a contract with them. Whether it's based on fraud or not, that makes it more difficult. And then they also presume they can just pull you out of the vehicle, whereas opposed to what I've done with the temp travel permit and then the dealer plate in the last scenario, and I thank God that I didn't get pulled out and that I didn't have my daughter with me. But I think that held more weight because at some point, even though they wrote the wrong vehicle, automobile make and model on the ticket, which for an officer who's supposed to have attention to detail is pretty insane. If you ask me, it says GMC right on the front and they said it was a Chevy Tahoe on the ticket. But on the back, it says common law, private citizen, and so if they look well enough and they hear long enough on the traffic stop, then they will come to the conclusion once they talk to their superior that they are in their best interest to let this one go and write a ticket and let them be on their way. That's my belief. But I'm still working on requesting the discovery from that traffic stop for purposes of finding out what exactly it was that allowed him to let it go. I yield.
Thank you, Brandon.
In 1789, our government moved to Washington, D.C. from New York. And some of our senior founding members decided that the people had to be able to enforce the law, and the law was the Constitution is the highest law of the land. And it was put in place then, and it's still in place today. So what happened was they gave the people the right to enforce the law. Only the people. No other agency of government has that authority. And they gave us a Supreme Court, higher than the regular Supreme Court that everybody knows about with the black robe guys. No, this is the People's Supreme Court, the one Supreme Court. And now it's in session right here, right now in Eugene, Oregon. This document right here is calling out the Chief Justice of the Oregon Supreme Court, calling her a fake, calling her to step down, and calling for military assistance under General Order 100. Because the Army is required to protect the people by General Order 100, and they will be called. And the people participating in this charade, this unlawful, unjurisdictional mess that we call a circuit court that doesn't even exist in Oregon. There is no circuit court in Oregon. They abolished it in 1910. And all of a sudden, here they are, bar members, pretending. And they've been taking money out of this community for a very long time, and the people have been ignorant to the fact that this is going on. It's over. Today it ends. And this writ right here is the court. We are in session, and this goes straight up to Washington, D.C., Judge Advocate General. It happens to be going to the Marine Corps. That will be our muscle at the door. And 2 copies to Donald Trump so that he'll know what we're doing. And that's the law in this land. So Oregon went back to a constitutional republic last year. Nobody paid any attention. And now it's coming home to roost. Some of these people are just out and out criminals, and they need to be taken down. And when I show up with a bus, load up Marine MPs, and take everybody in this courthouse to jail, they'll know finally that we have a point. The people do have a point. We are the supreme law of the land, and the Constitution is the law of the land, and my grandfather helped write the damn thing, so I'm kind of personal with this thing. He helped write the Oregon Constitution in 1857. And we got officially recognized by 1859, but it was the people assembled in Salem in a tent city. That's what happened.
Consider them all pirates. They took it over in the middle of the night, basically, right when everybody was looking. And they've slowly just taken everything that there is.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying, and then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up.
And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, to shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, shot him 3 more times.